Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today is a book recommendations video. So I have one of these videos up on my channel and I thought I would do a little update, talk about some books that I've read over the last couple of months. I guess I've been doing a bit more reading because usually I don't have time to read books in like the school year, so from September to like May I don't really have time to read books, but I started reading books on my phone on the train, and that was surprising because I actually managed to read like one book in 2 days. So that was a very good idea, especially in the winter when I can't look out the window because it's dark. So yeah, so I'm just going to mention 5 books that I've read that I've loved, and hopefully you guys might gain some inspiration for a new book to read this summer. And I'll be linking all the books I mention in the description box. So if you want to get one of these books yourself or just read more about it, you can follow the link. And yeah, okay, so 5 books I've read. The first one is What to Say Next by Bauxbaum. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I love this author so much. I love so many of her books. A quick summary of what this book is about. I started this book in February and finished it around March. So I read it in like 2-3 weeks. So that's like the average time it takes me to read a book if I'm just like reading a couple pages each evening or each day even. Yeah, but that's nothing to do with how much I love the book and so on, because I absolutely love this book. I would rate it 5 out of 5. The characters, they were so relatable. The storyline, just honestly, I could relate to this so much. This story is about a boy called David. David, I think he has autism, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he does, but I just don't remember exactly if that's what it is. So he has trouble talking to people. He sits by himself, and he keeps this journal of what to say to people. Basically, he notes down every interaction he's had with everyone, and were they good or bad, and if he should avoid those people or not. His character I loved. He seems like such a sweet person, and I would honestly want to know him in real life. I feel like I could relate to him sometimes as well with like the social situations. So that's one of the reasons why I loved this book so much. And then there's this second character, I think she's named Kit, and she one day decides to sit without her friends, and she sits with him, and at first he's like, oh my gosh, why? But then they start to talk and they kind of become friends, and yeah, and he fancies her and so on, and there's a happy ending, and it's such a cute love story, but also just it's focused on people who struggle to make connections with other people. So I think that's very important to read a book about that, to understand people better. So this story I think is very well written. The characters are amazing. So it's definitely one of my favourite books, and I recommend you read it if you're looking for a fun summer read about people and forming connections. The second book is Love and Gelato. This book is by Jenna Welch. This book, 5 out of 5. Please read this book. I'm not even exaggerating. You have to read this. It's the cutest love story you will ever find. Okay, so basically this girl goes on holiday to Italy. She goes on holiday, but there's a reason behind it. I don't want to give spoilers. And she stays with someone, and one day she's just walking around and bumps into someone. They become friends, and she meets this person's friends and so on. And like it's about how her summer was spent in Italy, making friends and finding out about her history and like her parents' history and her past. But this book is so romantic and so cute. Like it's such a cute love story. It made me feel lonely for a split second when I read it. I was like, wow, I could wish I could be in love like that one day. So yeah, if you love romantic cute stories, then check this out. And also if you want a summer read, this is the ultimate summer read. It's got summer, it's got Italy, it's got love. It's all you need really. So I think this is definitely something you should read in the summer, and it's set in Italy, and I love Italy. I've never been there, but I really want to go. That just made me love the book so much more. I started this book in the beginning of March and finished it at the end of March. So yeah, again, this took me like 3 weeks to read, but I love this book so much. And like, such a good story, such a good storyline. It's got twists and turns. Got everything. That's it. That's it. I should just end the video here. The third book on my list is The Unexpected Everything. It's by Matson, one of my favourite authors, and I started this book at the end of March, finished it at the beginning of April, so this book took me like a week to read because it was so good. Another amazing summer read. So this story is about this girl who's in her, I believe, senior year of high school, and she's got her summer planned out, but then of course the plans change and she's devastated and she has no idea what she's gonna do. But then these opportunities, I guess, face her. I don't know how to word it. So she's looking for a summer job, so she just chooses something and she's like, yeah, this will do. And it actually ends up being a very good choice, and she meets someone, and yeah, it's a love story, but it's also an amazing summer read because if you have no plans for summer, then this will definitely make you feel better. I feel like I could relate to this a little bit because I've had my own summer plans and then they changed, and then the plans, yeah, my summer plans have changed like a million times. So like I could feel what she was feeling and like the annoyance of having your plans change, and I could relate to this character so much because she was also someone who was a perfectionist, who loved control, who liked things going her way and having a plan, and I feel like that's me as well. So I liked having a character that I could definitely relate to and a storyline that was interesting and relatable. And if you're looking for a nice summer read plus a love story, then this is the perfect one. And also if you're a fan of Matson, then there's another reason to read this book. I definitely recommend it. It's one of my favourites. The fourth book is Playlist for the Dead, and it's by Michelle Falkoff. I've wanted to read this book for quite a long time, ever since I read 13 Reasons Why, because it's got a very similar vibe. In the story, someone commits suicide and they leave behind a playlist of songs which are meant to be clues, I guess, and the main character is listening to these songs and having to figure it out, kind of. And it's also like their perspective of dealing with things and their life. And again, I felt like I could relate to this character because he was left all alone. He lost his best friend. I could relate to it because of the loneliness and the lonely theme of this story. This book definitely made me feel better, and I guess it gives you hope and it shows you like the perspective of someone dealing with a loss like that. And I think this book, so in 13 Reasons Why was a very good book and I loved it. However, the TV show, I didn't think there should have been a second season. I didn't like that. I guess the argument of, does it glorify mental illnesses or does it not? Does it portray it well or not? It's always difficult to tell with these things. But this is not what the video is about, so I don't want to talk about that. But I would say, if you're someone who thinks that 13 Reasons Why was glorifying suicide and mental health issues, then I think this book is a better alternative. So if you like the idea of the 13 Reasons Why story, or if you want to read a similar book to that one, then I recommend Playlist for the Dead, because it did give me 13 Reasons Why vibes, but it wasn't the same. And I read this book in like 2 days. This was the book that took me like 2 days to read. It's 5 out of 5 for me. I definitely recommend it if you want to read a book about mental health issues, then I recommend this one. If 13 Reasons Why was too much for you, then I would recommend checking this book out at least. Of course, read it at your own risk. If reading books about suicide triggers you, then that's completely understandable. You don't have to read this book. But if you did watch and read 13 Reasons Why and you thought that was a bit too much, then I personally think this is a better alternative. Although the ending confused me, and I guess you'll see once you read it, because I feel like the ending, I mean, it's happy, but again, there's like the playlist, I didn't completely understand that. So the last book I want to mention is one I read most recently, and it's called Radio Silence by Oseman. But I started reading it at the end of April, and I think I also finished this book quite quickly. This book is about a girl who's in year 13. She's in sixth form. She's very competitive. She cares about her studies, and she listens to this podcast, and it's very important to her. And she has friends in her school, but she also feels a little bit misunderstood by them. And then she becomes friends with someone, and it's a little bit a bit of a plot twist and so on. So that was really interesting. If you like stories with plot twists, then this one's for you. I like the high school theme and the theme of this book. I didn't think it would be for me just because of the podcast idea. I don't know why. I thought that was a bit, I don't know. I can't explain it really. But I actually really enjoy this story, and it's one of my favourite books right now. It's honestly so good. Again, I felt like I could relate to the character in some ways, and characters were very well written. The storyline was great. It's focused on high school and finishing high school and love. There's an aspect of that in it, and just I guess finding yourself and your people. Because she felt like her friends didn't understand her and so on, but she had this passion of art and listening to these podcasts. So that was a very good storyline. I don't know exactly how to explain this book because I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely one that you just have to read and then you'll know what I mean. So if you want to read more about it, follow the link and you can find out more information on it there. But yeah, that's all the books I wanted to mention. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you check out at least one of these books and they interest you and you find a new book to read this summer. And if you have any book recommendations, then you can comment them below. And if you want to see more of these videos, then also let me know, because reading books is one of my passions and I want to share that on this channel as well, not only my journey through university and my studies, but also things that interest me and things I want to share with people, such as book recommendations. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.